The major thing that I want you guys to be thinking about as we introduce Tailwind is asking yourself the question of, what am I trying to do here? Okay? One of the simpler things that you're probably wanting to do is change where the text is appearing on the screen. Okay? Now, I know you know how to Google things, but I do want to show you a specific way of Googling code-based things, because what you might be finding is that while helpful in some ways, a lot of tutorials, a lot of walkthroughs, and a lot of explanations of the types of things that we do in here are written by programmers for programmers. There's an assumption that you already know part of what they're talking about. So if you are in the case of, well, I don't know what any of this means, it takes a little bit of extra sort of specific words to get to where you're going. Okay? Let's say what I want to do is this paragraph right here on line number 11. I want to have that be centered on the page. Okay? If I look at my output, which is right here. Okay? Oh, son of a gun. Okay. I closed my thing, so I just got to scroll back up until I find the purple triangle. Where is the purple triangle? There it is. Next.js, control click. Accidentally closed my tab. So if you close your tab, you just got to reopen it from the live server. And then I got a bunch of stuff from my other demonstrations here. My nav bar is getting a little full. If I go back to my recipes page, okay, we have my how to peel a banana, or step 1 is peel the banana, which should be on line number 11. I want this text right here to be in the middle of my page. Okay? What you should always start your Google with, oh my god, that was loud, sorry. What you should always start your search with is the phrase Tailwind CSS. Okay? That's going to narrow down your specific results to actually be helpful instead of having to wade through a lot of forum posts or a lot of additional things that might not be the easiest to understand at first glance. Okay? So remember, the first question I asked was, what am I trying to do here? That's the next part of my Google, is center text. Something very simple. Something just, what do I want to do? How do I adjust my my stuff? And that should give you, right at the top of the Google, what type of CSS Tailwind property you want to put on that paragraph. Okay? Let's see if that's true. If I click on text align, this is going to give me a bunch of classes right here. These are the parts that I'm just going to put in the paragraph. And this is what they do in old-fashioned CSS. Okay? I'm trying to center my text, which means I just need to use this text center property right here. But in order to do that, I have to go into the start tag, right? Because we're adding an attribute. Let me write that whole big word out real quick. Attribute. Just as a reminder, attributes always are going to go inside of start tags. Okay? At least in HTML rules. So I need to add the attribute by going into my paragraph here of class name. And when you do that, a little pop-up will appear that says class name question mark. When you see that, let me bring it back up real quick. All you have to do is hit enter. And it very simply adds the equal sign and the quotation marks onto this specific paragraph that I'm trying to edit. Okay? Now, the last step of what I need to do is put the Tailwind command inside of that class name for what I'm trying to do. In this example, all I'm trying to do is center my text. So if I go back to my Google, I just need to take this text center property, copy it. Let me turn on my mouse highlighter. Click inside of the class name, Control V to paste it, Control S to save it. Now, what we've done is define the class name as text center, and when we go back to our output, in theory, step number 1 should be in the middle of the page, which it is. Okay? Now let's say I wanted to make text number 1 or step number 1 a little bit larger. I'm going to go back to Google and start my phrase always with Tailwind CSS, increase font size. Looks like some other users are looking for the exact same thing. Okay? That's going to take me to font size, the same type of document, for typography. because Tailwind's whole vibe, Tailwind's entire idea is to make CSS easier, faster, more efficient. If you simply want text that's 4XL, right, pretty large, it's going to add all of this content that you don't have to think about with the simple phrase of text 4XL. And it goes from extra small to 9XL. Okay? So let's say I wanted to make my text 4XL, quite a bit larger than the default text. Okay? Instead of going into the attribute, I'm going to go into the quotes this time. All right? So let me write out attribute again so it sticks in your brains. Attributes are where you start first, and then you put things inside of the quotes. Okay? I'm going to put a hashtag as a placeholder. So once you've established your attribute, once you've laid out your class name to tell your computer, I want Tailwind to happen here, after that, everything else happens inside of the quotes. Okay? So I'm going to click next to text center, hit space, and then I'm just going to do text. If I type out text, it's going to give me a whole bunch of different options thanks to that CSS plugin that we installed. Okay? I can scroll down until I find my text 4XL. And then if I want to know how the CSS is working, I can hover over that text 4XL, and it's going to give me the code breakdown right in here. Okay? This is the old style CSS, which means it's still here, kind of like a grandparent. But this new version that you can see right here is going to be a lot easier to use, a lot easier to understand, and by extension, a lot easier to fix when it breaks. Okay? So now, if I zoom out and I go back to my output after I Control S to save, my step 1 should be quite a bit larger than the other parts of the page. And since I've already configured this feature, this class name of center large text, if I want to do that again, all I have to do is copy that attribute from the start of the class name to the end of the quotes, like this, and then I can add it to other elements like this H6 right here. Control V, Control S. You have a question?
What do we do if there's like already a class name? So like, let's say we wanted to change like the heading 1, and we wanted, and it already had like a class name that's like title. How would we? Do we just add like put space and then just add the like text center and text drive?
You're talking about this right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's find out together. So in theory, we should be able to just add quotes. And you wanted to change what parts?
Like make it bigger and then make it centered.
Okay. So text 4XL, and you said centered?
Yeah.
Okay. So text dash center. Control S. You can just add it right next to the old class name.
Okay.
It's designed to be as functional as possible. This is doing some JavaScript, or this is doing a component called title, whereas if you do class name equals and then do the quotes for normal Tailwind, this is going to behave like normal Tailwind. This is a good example of cascading. Okay? Remember the thing mentions that it's a waterfall. If I have a couple layers of CSS, whatever happens first is going to waterfall down to the next layer, and then whatever happens second is going to waterfall down to the third layer, and then so on and so on and so on until we run out of layers. All right? Since this, let me zoom out back in. Since this class name happens first, this is the first thing that gets rendered when the page gets built. And since this class name happens second, we've got a waterfall down the steps of our Tailwind. This will be rendered out after the title function occurs. And anytime you want to add, let's say we want to make our paragraph more of a banana color, okay? Tailwind has this cool color utility. If we go Tailwind CSS colors, because that's what we're trying to change right now, we have colors right here that's going to give us this range of options, okay? You can set a base color, which range from red to sky to fuchsia to stone, and then they have a 50 to 950 amount. Okay? Let's look at our yellow column right here. Let me not have that. There we go. Okay. Focus on the yellow column. which one of these is the most like ripe banana-ly? I'm kind of feeling this one, but I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Is it like banana colored? Yeah.
Probably like the one slightly to the left, like same over just a little left.
Number 300?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we feel about 300? Does that feel banana-ly? Okay. So, if I wanted to bring in that specific color, all I would have to do is go into my attribute and add color. Is it color? Actually, I gotta remember real quick. So it's, hold on. Maybe it's text color. Let's try text color. Text-color. Nope, that's not it. Do we just set it to yellow YW50? Okay, so once we get a yellow that we like, we can just copy the clipboard, or click on it to copy it. Now let's see what happens when we put it after text 4XL. We're going to learn this together. Control V, Control S. Let's see what that does for us. Did not do what I wanted it to. Jake, can you remind me the thing for color real quick? Oh, so we go text-yellow. Aha, okay. And then there's our yellow 300. There's our most banana-ly yellow that we can find here. Okay. Text-yellow. Wants me to restart. Yellow, yellow 300, and it'll also give us this little icon showing what type of text is happening. If you hover over that, it's going to give you the information of how it's creating that yellow color. So when we go back, now we have a banana-colored step alongside our recipe. So today was a lot of listening. Thank you guys for being very attentive. Thank you guys for clocking in for sure. CSS, Tailwind especially, is not as scary as it sounds. You don't have an exit task, by the way. When you're ready to start customizing how your things look on the page, first, get good at adding things to this Tailwind section, and then a little bit later in the semester, we'll talk about what makes good design, okay? But first, get used to Tailwind. Okay? Sound good? Good job today. Make sure you save. Make sure you close your server when you're done. You can do that by either closing the tab or holding Control and then hitting C one time. When you do that, Control C one time, it'll ask you, do you want to terminate this job? You want to hit Y, hit Enter, your server's closed. So if I go back to my site and I refresh, it's going to go, I can't connect to that because there's nothing actually there. So I'm going to put both the YouTube playlist and the Tailwind docs in the resources section of Canvas. Let me see what we have here. We want showcase. There we go. And you can get your phones. Thank you for listening.
Quick thing.